Introduction to Fundamentals of Surveying. Before we discuss the different types and methods of surveying, let us first understand what surveying really means. Surveying is both a science, an art, and a technology of determining the relative positions of points located above, on, or beneath the Earth's surface. It also involves establishing these points for engineering, construction, and mapping purposes. Now, let's examine the three key aspects of this definition. First, surveying is a science because it applies mathematical principles, geometry, physics, and measurement techniques to obtain accurate and reliable data. So second, it is an art because the surveyor must use judgment, experience, and practical skills in selecting the appropriate methods, setting up instruments, and interpreting field conditions. So no two survey sites are exactly the same, so professional judgment plays an important role. And third, surveying is a technology because it relies on modern instruments and equipment such as total station, GPS, drones, laser scanners, and specialized computer software in order to collect, process, and analyze spatial data efficiently. Notice the phrase relative position of points. This means surveying determines where one point is located with respect to another. Instead of simply finding a location, surveyors measure distances, angles, elevations, and coordinates to establish the exact relationship among different points. So these points may be located above the Earth's surface, such as the top of a building or a transmission tower, on the Earth's surface, such as roads, property corners, or bridges, or beneath the Earth's surface, such as tunnels, mines, pipelines, or underground utilities. So the last part of the definition mentions establishing such points. This refers to marking precise locations in the field that engineers and construction professionals will use as reference points during planning, design, and construction. So in simple terms, surveying provides the accurate spatial information needed for engineers, architects, planners, and builders to design and construct a project safely and correctly. Without surveying, it will be impossible to know the exact location, dimensions, and elevation of structures, roads, land boundaries, and other engineering works. So as future engineers, understanding the principles of surveying is essential because it serves as a foundation for virtually every civil engineering and infrastructure project. Surveying is also defined as a discipline which encompasses all methods for measuring and collecting information about the physical Earth and our environment, processing that information, and disseminating a variety of resulting products to a wide range of clients. Among the many definitions of surveying, we will adopt the surveying definition of Juni Laput. Surveying is the art and science of determining angular and linear measurements to establish the form, extent, and relative position of points, lines, and areas on or near the surface of the Earth or on other extraterrestrial bodies through applied mathematics and the use of specialized equipment and technique. The following lists down the various purposes of undertaking a survey by the International Federation of Surveyors. Now that we have defined surveying, let us look at its two major classifications, namely plane surveying and geodetic surveying. Plane surveying is the type of surveying used when the area being surveyed is relatively small. In this method, the Earth is assumed to be a flat surface, which means that the curvature of the Earth is so small that it can safely be ignored. Because the area covered is limited, the errors caused by the Earth's curvature are insignificant and do not affect the accuracy required for most engineering projects. This is the type of surveying commonly used for building construction, road projects, land subdivision, property surveys, campus mapping, and other local engineering works. For example, if an engineer is surveying a 1-hectare lot for the construction of a commercial building, there is no need to account for the Earth's curvature because the difference is practically negligible. In summary, plane surveying simplifies computations by treating the Earth as flat, making it the most widely used method for ordinary engineering and construction projects. This brings us to an important question. What assumptions make plane surveying possible? Unlike plane surveying, geodetic surveying is used for large areas where the Earth's curvature cannot be ignored. Instead of treating the Earth as flat, geodetic surveying considers the Earth as an oblate spheroid, which is slightly flattened at the poles and bulges at the equator. Because of this, surveyors must use the principles of geodesy, the science that studies the Earth's size, shape, gravity field, and orientation in space. Geodetic surveying requires very high precision and involves more advanced mathematical computations than plane surveying. These calculations include spherical trigonometry, calculus, and the method of least squares, which is used to minimize measurement errors and improve the accuracy of survey networks. This type of surveying is commonly used in national mapping, establishment of geodetic control points, satellite positioning systems such as GPS or GNSS, state or provincial boundary surveys, and major infrastructure projects like long bridges, railways, and highways. To summarize the difference, plane surveying assumes that the Earth is flat and is suitable for small engineering projects. Geodetic surveying accounts for the Earth's curvature and is used for large-scale, high-precision surveys. As future engineers, you will most often perform or interpret plane surveys in your professional practice. However, it is equally important to understand geodetic surveying because it provides the national reference framework upon which all local surveys are ultimately based. The following provides additional notes that differentiate between plane surveying and geodetic surveying. 1. Field measurements for geodetic surveys are usually performed to a higher order of accuracy than those of plane surveys. 2. Geodetic surveying. The curved surface of the Earth is considered by performing the computations on an ellipsoid. Next, it is now becoming common to do geodetic computations in a three-dimensional, Earth-centered Cartesian coordinate systems. And finally, geodetic methods to determine relative positions of widely spaced monuments and to compute lengths and directions of the long lines between them. Now that we have discussed the basic principles and classifications of surveying, let us explore the different types of surveys. Each type is designed for a specific purpose depending on the nature of the project, the terrain, and the information that needs to be collected. As future civil engineers, understanding this survey will help you identify which surveying method is most appropriate for a particular engineering application. The first type is the cadastral survey. Cadastral surveying is primarily concerned with land ownership and property boundaries. It is one of the most common types of surveys performed by licensed geodetic engineers. A cadastral survey is usually a closed survey, meaning it begins and ends at known reference points to ensure accuracy. Its main objective is to determine and legally define the boundaries of a parcel of land, including its property lines, corner monuments, and total area. This type of survey is essential whenever land is bought, sold, subdivided, inherited, or developed. The resulting survey plan serves as an official legal document used in land registration and property ownership. For example, before constructing a house or purchasing a lot, a cadastral survey is conducted to ensure that the property boundaries are correctly established and that no neighboring property is encroached upon. Next are the city surveys. City surveys are conducted within and around urban areas to support city planning, development, and infrastructure improvement. These surveys provide accurate information about streets, buildings, utilities, property lines, monuments, and other physical features found within a city. The collected data are used to prepare detailed maps that serve as the basis for zoning, road expansion, drainage systems, public transportation, and other municipal or city projects. For example, before widening a major road or constructing a new public park, engineers must first perform a city survey to determine the existing conditions and identify any affected properties or utilities. In short, city surveys provide the information necessary for organized and sustainable urban development. Next are the construction surveys. These surveys are performed to ensure that engineering structures are built exactly according to the approved design plans. Before construction begins, surveyors establish reference points, building lines, elevations, and benchmarks that guide contractors during excavation and construction. Throughout the project, they continuously verify that the location, dimensions, grades, and elevations of the structure remain within the required tolerances. Construction surveys are used in projects such as buildings, bridges, highways, airports, dams, and industrial plants. For example, before pouring the foundation of a building, surveyors stake out the exact location of the columns and walls so that construction begins in the correct position. Without accurate construction surveys, even a small measurement error can result in costly delays and structural problems. Forestry surveys are carried out to support the management, conservation, and sustainable use of forest resources. These surveys determine the boundaries of forest lands, locate natural resources, and collect information about the size condition, distribution of trees, and the data help government agencies and environmental organizations to manage timber resources, protect wildlife habitats, and monitor deforestation. Forestry surveys also assist in planning access roads, reforestation projects, and environmental conservation programs. For example, before establishing a protected forest reserve, surveyors determine its exact boundaries to prevent illegal encroachment and ensure proper management of the areas. Next are the hydrographic surveys. Hydrographic surveying focuses on mapping and measuring bodies of water, including rivers, lakes, reservoirs, harbors, coastal areas, and oceans. Unlike land surveys, hydrographic surveys determine the depth of water, the shape of the underwater terrain, known as the seabed or riverbed, and the location of underwater features such as rocks, sandbars, and submerged structures. These surveys are essential for navigation, flood control, irrigation systems, fort development, bridge construction, water resource management, and hydroelectric power projects. So for example, before constructing a bridge across a river, engineers conduct a hydrographic survey to determine the river's depth, and underwater conditions so that the bridge foundation can be designed safely. Today, hydrographic surveys often use advanced technologies such as sonar, GPS, and unmanned survey boats to produce highly accurate underwater maps. Industrial surveying is sometimes referred to as optical tooling. It involves extremely precise measurements required in manufacturing and industrial facilities. Unlike ordinary land surveys, industrial surveys focus on the accurate positioning and alignment of machinery, equipment, and structural components inside factories, power plants, shipyards, and aerospace facilities. These surveys are commonly used during the installation of turbines, generators, heavy machinery, aircraft components, and shipbuilding operations, where even a few millimeters of error can affect performance or safety. So, for example, when installing a large industrial turbine in a power plant, surveyors ensure that the machine is perfectly aligned with the generator to prevent excessive vibration and equipment failure. Industrial surveying demonstrates that surveying is not limited to land measurement. It also plays a critical role in precision engineering. Mine surveying is a specialized field that supports both surface and underground mining operations. Mine surveyors determine the locations of tunnels, shafts, excavation areas, and surface facilities while also calculating the volume of material that has been extracted or excavated. They establish control points and grades to ensure that underground tunnels are driven in the correct directions and safely connect with other excavations. Mine surveys are also important for defining mining claim boundaries, mapping geological formations, and ensuring worker safety. As an example, during underground mining, surveyors continuously monitor tunnel alignment to prevent two excavation teams from missing each other or unintentionally breaking into unsafe areas. Next is photogrammetric surveying. It is the science of obtaining measurements from photographs rather than by making direct field measurements. These photographs may be taken from airplanes, satellites, drones, or cameras pointed on the ground using specialized software. Surveyors extract distances, elevations, contours, and three-dimensional models from overlapping images. Photogrammetry is a particularly useful surveying for large or inaccessible areas where conventional fieldwork would be difficult, expensive, or even dangerous. Today, drone technology has made photogrammetric surveys one of the fastest growing methods in surveying. Engineers commonly use it for mapping construction sites, monitoring mining operations, assessing disaster areas, and preparing topographic maps. Although limited ground measurements are still required for verification, photogrammetry significantly reduces the amount of fieldwork needed. Route surveying. Route surveys are constructed or conducted for the planning, design, and construction of linear engineering projects. These include highways, railways, pipelines, canals, transmission lines, and other projects that extend over long distances. A route survey determines the most suitable alignment while collecting information about ground elevations, slopes, soil conditions, drainage, and existing natural or man-made obstacles. So surveyors also estimate earthwork quantities needed for excavation and embankment construction. For example, before constructing a new expressway, engineers perform a route survey to identify the safest, most economical, and environmentally suitable path. Because route surveys directly influence project cost, safety, and construction efficiency, they are among the most important surveys in transportation, and in infrastructure engineering. And finally, topographic surveying. It is one of the most widely used types of surveys in civil engineering. Its purpose is to determine the shape of the land and the location and elevation of both natural and man-made features. Natural features include hills, rivers, lakes, valleys, and vegetation, while man-made features include roads, buildings, bridges, utility lines, and other structures. The information collected is represented using contour lines, which illustrate changes in elevation and help engineers visualize the terrain. Topographic surveys are essential before designing subdivisions, highways, dams, airports, and other major engineering projects because they provide engineers with an accurate picture of the existing ground conditions. In simple terms, a topographic survey answers three important questions. What features are present? Where are they located? And how high or low is the land? These answers enable engineers to design safe, efficient, and cost-effective projects. Next are the forerunners of surveying instruments. Before the invention of modern surveying equipment, such as total stations, GNSS receivers, and laser scanners, surveyors relied on simpler mechanical and optical instruments to ensure distances, directions, and elevations. Although these early instruments lack today's digital technology, they laid the foundation for the development of modern surveying. By understanding these forerunners of surveying instruments, we gain a greater appreciation of how surveying has evolved over the centuries and how many of the basic instrument principles remain the same even today. Let's begin with two of the most influential instruments in the history of surveying, the telescope and the early transit. The surveying telescope revolutionized surveying by allowing surveyors to accurately sight distant objects. Before telescopes were introduced, surveyors depended largely on simple visual alignment, which limited both accuracy and distance. The addition of magnification greatly improved. It improved precision and made long-distance observations possible. The early transit combined a telescope with a rotating horizontal axis, enabling surveyors to measure both horizontal and vertical angles accurately. The instrument eventually became the predecessor of the modern theodolite and later the total station. Although these instruments appear primitive by today's standards, they introduced the fundamental concept of accurately measuring angles, which remains one of the most important tasks in modern surveying. Another important group of early surveying instruments includes the semi-circumferentor and the plane table. The semi-circumferentor was an early angle measuring instrument equipped with a semicircular graduated scale. It was used primarily to measure horizontal angles and determine directions between survey points. Although its precision was limited compared with later instruments, it represented a significant advancement in surveying technology during its time. On the other hand, the plane table allowed surveyors to measure and draw maps simultaneously in the field. Mounted on a tripod, it supported a drawing board where survey observations were plotted directly as measurements were taken. This eliminated much of the office drafting work and enabled surveyors to visualize the map while still on site. Today, although plane tables are rarely used, the concept of producing maps directly from field observations has evolved into modern digital mapping using GPS, GIS, and computer-aided drafting software. This next slide presents two surveying instruments that date back to ancient civilizations, the dioptra and the groma. The dioptra, developed by the ancient Greeks, is often considered one of the earliest ancestors of the theodolite. It consisted of a rotating sighting device mounted on a graduated circle and was used for measuring both horizontal and vertical angles. The dioptra played an important role in constructing aqueducts, temples, roads, and other engineering works of the ancient world. The groma, developed by the Romans, was designed primarily for laying out straight lines and right angles. It consisted of a vertical staff with horizontal cross arms carrying plumb lines that helped surveyors establish perpendicular directions. Roman engineers used the groma extensively in constructing roads, military camps, and cities where precise rectangular layouts were essential. Although simple in design, the groma introduced the principle of establishing right angles, a concept that remains fundamental in engineering surveying today. The final forerunners shown here are the Livelia and the Vernier, two innovations that greatly improve the accuracy of surveying measurements. The Livelia, or the Libella, is one of the earliest leveling devices. It was designed to establish a horizontal reference plane, allowing surveyors and builders to determine whether surface was level. This principle eventually evolved into the spirit level and today's automatic and digital levels. The vernier, invented by the French mathematician Pierre Vernier in the 17th century, was not a surveying instrument by itself, but a precision measuring scale. So by adding a secondary scale beside the main scale, surveyors could read measurements with much greater accuracy than was previously possible. The vernier scale became an essential component of many surveying instruments, including transits, theodolites, sextants, and vernier calipers used in engineering laboratories.